Welcome back for another Mysidia Post Spoilers Roundup. We're going to get right into it with Luce. Luce is a 2CP fire backup job mother category World of Final Fantasy. The cost required to play Luce onto the field is reduced by 1 for each card name Lan or card name Rain you control. So that means that you can get down to 0 CP, which is pretty neat. You can dull Luce and choose 1 card name Lan or 1 card name Rain, and it will gain Brave until the end of the turn. So this card is pretty awesome. If you run the backup Rain, then all you need is a Lan, and then you get a totally free value backup down. So the new Lan will work well to develop your board quickly as it's only 2 CP, but I think that the Opus 7 Legend Land is actually going to be really good with this card because it gets Brave from Luce, and that's going to be it's going to let you attack and defend with Lan and hopefully use this ability. So I actually really like the idea of using the backup Rain, the Opus 7 Legend Lan, and then this Luce to kind of have like a little utility package in Fire where you can play Rain into Lan and then Lan into a free Luce, and it's just going to be this this package that helps you develop backups quickly and get a forward into hand, and I could see it definitely being played that way. Another option is going to be using the new Legendary Rain, which we'll talk about soon, but that Rain also reduces in cost depending on your World of Final Fantasy characters, so sometimes you might play Luce first to reduce Rain's cost or vice versa. So there's definitely a lot of options with this card, and of course if you're using the forward Rain, then that's something that you can give Brave as well. Okay, let's take a look at Rain. Rain is a 5 CP fire forward with 8k power, job Mirage Keeper, and category World of Final Fantasy. The cost required to play Rain onto the field is reduced by 1 for every category WAF character you control. So this is huge. Monsters, backups, and forwards all apply to this effect. The category World of Final Fantasy forwards you control other than Rain have haste, and whenever a category World of Final Fantasy forward you control attacks, choose 1 forward your opponent controls, deal at 4,000 power. So that includes Rain. So at the very base, she's kind of a reduced cost forward that has a ping effect, but then it has a bunch of other things going on. So there's only 2 other Fire World of Final Fantasy Fire backups, and one of them is a Rain, so really you're just looking at Luce. So you're going to want to pair Rain with Earth to access a ton of WAF backups, including the girl who forgot her name, Tama, Pelennor, Segwardes, and the Masked Woman. If you can consistently get to 3 WAF backups, then Rain is going to cost 2 CP and maybe even less if you can get some forwards out there. Her ability to grant haste is going to be really fantastic with all the 2 CP monsters, the forward monsters from World of Final Fantasy, as well as Lan and Han, and even maybe a Bamushian Soldier if you're playing more monsters. So I'm sure we're going to see other WAF characters printed this set as well, so there might be more support, more monsters, or more backups, etc. But I can see a Earth Fire WAF deck taking off in this new set, possibly using Class 9th Moogle to access Zapt and Ramu, but that ping ability that Rain gives is really, really exciting, as it's going to quickly get out of hand. If you're party attacking with 2 small forwards, you're pinging for 8k, or even if you're just pairing it with all the natural ping support that Fire has. Well, we have another Zandi, and the art is super cool. Emperor Zandi from Final Fantasy XIV is one of my favorite cards in the game. It just looks so great, and this card is no different. It's our second Fire Legendary of the set, which is pretty exciting as well. Unfortunately, this card is not as exciting as everything I just mentioned. So when Zandi enters the field, choose up to 1 fire forward of cost 1, up to 1 fire forward of cost 3 in your break zone, and play them onto the field. By the way, he's an 8 cost 9k fire forward job Dark Lord and category 3. When you hit damage 5, Zandi will enter the field, and you can also bring back a cost 2 forward from your break zone and play it onto the field. So all the forwards have to be fire, which limits you quite a bit. The main thing with him is that we just don't have very many good 1 CP targets, and we also have a lot of name clashes, because Palom and Vivi are both great 1 CP and 3 CP targets for Zandi, so it kind of makes it so you can't play both, or you'd have to play like a lot of copies and kind of mix and match, which I don't think is that good. So I think that we're going to have to see more cards printed at the 1 CP cost this set, at least one more that's good with Zandi, or he's really not going to work. The 2 CP is it kind of a boost because there's some really good 2 CP fire forwards like Furion and Warrior of Light and Tifa, Godot, all sorts of things like that. So there's some potential here, but the part that I struggle with is finding the right time to play him, because 8 CP is just a ton of resources, and even if you play out a big board of forwards, it might be really risky in a Fiend of Alform meta. And you also, if you're going to be running all these low cost forwards and all these like these ping damage and all these different things that you want to get value with, then you might not need an 8 CP finisher. You might be looking to finish the game quicker than that. But I would love to be proven wrong about him. Maybe this is going to be like a really big Golbez-like effect that is just hard to stop because it's an ETB and it turns out to be quite good. I mean, it's going to depend on what we see printed, so hopefully we see some more options for him in this set. Okay, next up is Shiban, which is a 1 CP Ice Summon, EX Burst, choose 1 doll forward, deal it 4,000 damage. This card is way better than the Opus 1 Shiva, but I guess it's not card name Shiva, so there's a disadvantage. Either way, drawing a card is better. It's a really good EX Burst, and you should almost always hit this EX Burst because forwards tend to doll when they attack, which means that you're going to have a target for this summon. Now, of course, it doesn't account for Brave or Untargetable, stuff like that, but I think that this is generally going to draw you a card on EX Burst. You can also combo this with Sid Reigns or Lastwell to break doll forwards. And I just thought this is really interesting that Ice is getting more card draw, especially on the EX Burst. It was an area that it was lacking before they printed Azure Dragon the set before, and now it's really gonna, I mean, I think it's gonna help it just really push, cycle through the deck and do some nifty combos. Now we just need Earth to get some more card draw, and I'll be a very happy guy. We've got everyone's favorite Nudibranch. So we've got Exo Ray, 3 CP, Water Monster, put Exo Ray into the break zone, draw 2 cards. This is category 13. Damage 5, put Exo Ray into the break zone, draw 3 cards. So basically, if you've got 5 damage, you can use one ability or the other. You cannot use both. They're both separate action abilities. Once you've paid the cost for one of them, which is putting X-Ray into the break zone, you can't pay the other one because X-Ray is no longer there. This seems like a fine card. It nets you value with Mira, and nets you a lot of value with Mira. But otherwise, it's a slight loss. That is, of course, unless you're at 5 damage. So when you get to 5 damage, it becomes really good. So maybe we'll see this in some water decks that want to cycle through their cards fast. I mean, they already have a lot of card draw. They have Layla Viking, but maybe this sees play in Fusoya because you're ramping up your damage really fast. Otherwise, I don't really see it seeing too much play. It's going to be an interesting limited card as well, because then you can kind of do some card draw stuff that you might not always get to do in limited. And that's it for another spoiler roundup with the Mysidia Post. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I want to hear what you have to say about these cards in the comments, so don't pull any punches. What do you think about Exo Ray? Is this the best Nudibranch we've ever seen? I mean, it's certainly the only one we've ever seen in Final Fantasy, but maybe you have a favorite one from biology class. Let me know in the comments below and we'll chat. See you next time. Thank you so much for watching. You can like and subscribe to support us further, and you can read the Mysidia Post articles at themysidiapost.com. You can also check out our Patreon if you want to support us more. And if you need FFTCG singles, then look no further than Cards at Evilise. They've got great deals and prices. Check them out. Finally, I'd like to thank FF Decks for creating the best website for creating your Final Fantasy trading card game decks. They've also got a Patreon, so make sure you go check them out. They work so hard for the community, so let's pay them back. See you next time.